Laracon, I hope you're as happy to be here as I am. Last year, I gave actually my first conference talk, and I'm pretty sure I did something right because I'm back here again. This time, I'm going to talk about creating a dashboard with Laravel, Vue, and Pusher. I created it somewhere last year and perfected it in the course of the previous months. So, I'm Freek Van der Herten. I'm a partner and a developer at a company called Spatie. We are based in Antwerp, in Belgium. Like many of you, I'm on Twitter. My handle is Freek Meurze. And I have this blog, meurze.be, where I talk about modern PHP development and Laravel. Together with these two awesome guys, I organized the local user group in Antwerp. So if you're ever in the vicinity of our beautiful city, we're always on the lookout for good speakers and for beginning speakers. Doesn't matter what level your talk is, you're welcome. If you want to give a talk at our user group, get in touch with us. My company, Spatie, has been around since 2003. We create websites, applications, web shops. Our team is quite small. We only consist of 4 developers and 1 manager. Yeah, and we specialize in Laravel development. Now, before heading off into the wonderful world of dashboards, I want to say a few words on our open source work, because we, like some of you might know, we do a lot of things in the open source space, and we released a bunch of Laravel packages that are hopefully useful for building many types of applications. If you want to know which things that we've built, head over to our company website. This is the state of things. We currently have like 160 public repositories on GitHub right now. Last year, at this day, we had 800,000 downloads, and now we're approaching 5 million, with 500 downloads of those packages being done each month, which we're very happy with. Creating open source has a lot of benefits. We learn a lot by just researching the problem we're trying to solve. We learn a lot by being forced to write the documentation and to write the test. There's a commercial aspect to it as well. Those packages show the quality of our work a little bit. And of course, we use those packages in our own projects as well. So even though we are a quite small team, we managed to be at number 4 at the GitHub award site, which just ranks GitHub organization by star count, and we're very close to getting number 3. Now those packages are not free. They have a license on them called postcardware, which means if it gets in your production environment, a package of ours, we really appreciate you sending us a postcard. And this year we've made it very, very easy for you. In your swag bag, we've put an envelope where you can put your postcard in and just send it to us. So that's how it works. This is the actual wall in our office that has all the postcards. If you send something to us, it will end up there. And let's take a look around in our office. Let's turn around. And what we have there against the wall in the back is our dashboard. It's a TV screen. Let's step in a little bit closer here so we can see it. So that's it. And let's go over what kind of information that we display on this dashboard. So in the top left corner, we have a Twitter feed where every tweet mentioning our company is being displayed. Next to it, we have an event calendar where we show events important to our company. We're all big music lovers at Spatie, so we want to know which music is playing. So this tile shows the current track that's currently playing through our boxes and who is playing it. Yeah, this one needs no explanation. That's just the clock, and we have the temperature there too. You see that I took this screenshot on a really sunny day. It was 27 degrees still at that time. Yeah, I've mentioned our open source work. We're kind of proud of it, so we show some statistics of that as well. These are the fun statistics. These are the downloads that we get. These one are the not so fun statistics, the issues and the pull requests that are still open and we should manage. We have a bunch of tiles that shows the tasks that each of the members of our team should be working on. Next up, we have a tile that just displays which sites are down. We have made another package called Laravel Uptime Monitor that makes it really easy to monitor the uptime of your sites. And whenever it detects that a site is down, it will send that information to our dashboard, and it will end up there. So that is what's being displayed on our dashboard. Our dashboard is completely open source. So this is the actual repo where we are deploying it from, so you can view the actual code there. If you want to set up your own dashboard, just copy the code and modify it to your own needs. By the end of the talk, you should have a good overview of how it works. It's not that hard, actually. So let's give a high-level overview of how this thing works. In short, the dashboard is just a single HTML page. It's displayed in a full-screen browser, and once it's loaded, we don't reload that page anymore because we don't want to see the page building up. We want to have a very quiet dashboard, and having it built up the whole time would be very, very distracting. So how do we solve this? With JavaScript. So each of the tiles will be updated with JavaScript, and each tile has its own update frequency as well. That clock is being updated once a second, and I think the packages downloads, they are being updated like once in an hour. So which technologies did we use for this? Laravel, Pusher, and Vue.js. Now, I give this talk at framework agnostic PHP conferences as well, and I always ask these three questions. First one will be a bit funny. Who here uses Laravel? A couple of people, that's good. Who here has experience with Pusher or WebSockets? Okay, some hands. And who here knows Vue, works with Vue? Okay, that's pretty good. Cool. Now, if you don't know Vue.js very well, if you didn't put up your hand for the last question, we'll do a very small crash course into Vue so you can understand the rest. So, first up, Laravel. This dashboard uses the, I don't know, is it the latest version of the framework? I hope so, it's still the latest version, Laravel 5.4. We aim to keep it always updated, so probably next week the dashboard will be on Laravel 5.5. Laravel is, in this project, responsible for rendering that initial page. It's just a blade view. Laravel will also fetch data from external APIs. So for that event list that you saw, those events are managed on a Google Calendar. So Laravel will reach out to Google Calendar to get the data. And whenever new data arrives, it will broadcast the events with the built-in broadcasting system. To get some data, I looked around for some good packages to fetch those data, but I couldn't find good packages, so I decided to build some myself. The first one, Laravel Twitter Streaming API, is a wrapper around another package called Firehose, which makes it very easy to listen to the real-time streams of Twitter. So whenever something happens on Twitter, they let you know immediately. And our package makes it very easy to work with that Twitter stream. Next up is a package that can fetch events from a Google Calendar. Now, in this project, we only use it to read data, but that package can also write events to Google Calendar. So if you have a project where you need to write to a calendar, take a look at it. The third one, Last.fm, now playing. Who here knows Last.fm? Okay, some hands, but not everybody. Last.fm is this site that can make statistics of all the music that you're playing. It works by installing a little agent on your server and it's on your local machine, and it will just transmit the tracks that your Spotify or your iTunes player is playing to their service. So they know which track is playing, and they have an API for that. And I made a little package for that so you can easily fetch that track that is playing. And the two last ones that are for fetching the packages statistics and the GitHub open issues and open PRs and stuff. Good. Pusher. Pusher themselves, they describe them as we provide a full duplex communication channels over a single TCP connection. Now that's a mouthful. You know this as WebSockets, that's the common name, but I like to call this magic because it is magical. It just works so damn good. It works in real time. And we use it to transport those events that Laravel sends out from the server to the browser. So the browser has an open WebSocket connection where the new information is passed to. Yeah, I've mentioned it. It works in real time. We've also set up a secure connection. Not that there is anything really sensitive on our dashboard, but we do like to keep the tasks that our team should be working on a little bit private. I should also mention that Pusher is a paid service, but they have this free tier for, I think, 100,000 events in a day that are for free. And this dashboard uses around 4,000 or 5,000 events a day. So you're pretty good in the free tier. Last one, Vue.js. Like many of you, Vue.js is very easy to learn, yet powerful framework. It gets a lot of love from the Laravel community, and I know why. They share this common value of keeping developer happiness very high on their list. So the APIs are very clean. It's good documentation. It's really nice to work with. In this dashboard project, each tile is its own component. So Vue.js provides a good way to make little components that are independent of each other. And here, each tile is its own component. Each tile will listen for events that are important to it via Laravel Echo. Laravel Echo, in case you don't know, is a JavaScript package that was also built by Taylor, which makes it very easy to handle broadcasted events on the client side. And once new data arrives via the WebSocket, we will update the tile. So this is it in one scheme. So at the right, we see the external API services. Laravel will call them. Whenever new data comes in, Laravel will send an HTTP request to Pusher, and Pusher will send a notification to the browser via the WebSockets. That's basically how it works. So I can talk a lot about this, but I think it's fun if I just show you some code and let's toy around a little bit with it. What are we going to talk about? I'm going to tell you how the grid system works, or how you can use it actually, how you can choose where tiles are on the dashboard. Then we're going to do a Vue crash course by explaining how that clock title works. Then things get a little more interesting. We're going to see what the packages style, how that works behind the scenes. We have some events coming in there. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun with the Twitter tile. So there will be some live coding. We'll use an internet connection, things that you shouldn't do in a live presentation, but yeah, we're gonna do it anyway, YOLO. Okay, let's do this. Let me switch over to PHP Storm here. And this is probably a little bit small, so let's enter presentation mode here. So that's a little bit bigger. Now this is a demo version of the dashboard. It's like the production version, but I made a few things a little bit easier here. So you can see it's a Laravel application. And when we look at the resources, views folder, you see that we basically have one view, the dashboard view. And you can see that it's actually very small. There are some funny tags in here. If you don't know Vue, those are the Vue components. We'll go in depth there later. Let's see what this dashboard looks like in the browser. So I've got it here via Laravel Valet. So it's basically the same dashboard that you saw. Okay, and let's just play with it a little bit. We have that time weather thingy here. Let's just put that on top. Let's do this a little bit in comments here. And how you can position things on the dashboard is by using this position property. And you should think of the dashboard like an Excel spreadsheet. So there are rows which have numbers, and there have columns which have letters. So if I put this in A1, then we should probably have the clock in that position. Oh, didn't do anything those in comments? I just clean it up a little bit. Be gone. Okay, now we have only the clock here. So basic stuff. But the dashboard also supports ranges. So if you want to make it a little bit wider, no problem. Let's make it a little bit wider. Cool. You can, yeah. It really makes no sense, but we're going to do it anyway. If you want to have 2 clocks on your dashboard, no problem. Let's do that. Now, for a clock, it's a little bit silly, but you see here that for those task tiles, we have the same tile, but we just give it another parameter, the name of the member of our team here. And if you need like another amount of columns of rows, you can do that. So we have like 3 rows here now. If I want to have 2 rows, I just set it in 2. And yeah, now we have 2 rows. So it's very easy to position things on the dashboard. Are there any questions about this? It's basic stuff, but okay, cool. No, we are not going to update here. Let's restore some things here first. And I have my time weather tile. Okay, cool. So now you know how to position things on the dashboard. Let's take a look at how these things work, which is basically the Vue crash course. So that time weather thingy here, that's actually being replaced by Vue by a piece of other HTML. And which piece of HTML? If I open up my resources, assets, JavaScript components folder here, then you see that we have here a file, a Vue component, for every tile on our dashboard. Let me open up the time weather tile here. And Vue components have a few parts in it. They can contain some HTML, a template. They can have some behavior here in the script text, some JavaScript, and they can have some styling. But in this project, the styling is separately, but for regular Vue components, you can open up style text here and style things here. But that's not that important for this presentation. What is important is that you know that this HTML, that will go where that time weather tag was in the blade view. And you can see here, yeah, it's a bunch of classes to position things. But we also have this syntax here with the curly braces, date, time. And those two, those are variables. Those things can change. Those 2 variables are part of the state of this Vue component. And you should know that whenever we update those variables, that will let Vue, if the variables are updated, Vue will re-render that tile a little bit. So you can see here that in the script tags, we have the data part, we have date, time, we also have the weathery things. And whenever this Vue component is created, this is a little bit like a constructor, we will call a function called refresh time, and we will use a popular utility, a popular package in the JavaScript world to format dates, to get the current date, to get the current time, and to update the internal state. And just by doing this, the component will re-render. And here we say, yeah, not only call this when the component is created, but just do this every second. And that's how that works. So that's why this is updating. Basic stuff in Vue land, but I want to have everybody up to speed here. Now that we're here, let's take a look at how we do the weather thing. So the weather thing is also part of the state here. We have the weather temperature. We have an icon class here. That's for this. It's cloudy in Antwerp right now, and here too. And here for this, we also are going to call a fetch weather function, and we're going to call it every 50 minutes. And we are going to use this fetch weather function. We are going to await the weather conditions. And when we have those conditions, we are going to put them in the internal state and the component will re-render. Basic stuff. Let's take a little bit of a sidetrack and go to that weather thing we have here. We have a service weather here. And here you can see that we just leverage a Yahoo API. Yahoo has an API to fetch the weather. We use Axios to get it. And Yahoo has this SQL-like syntax to get some data from their API. So that's how we get that data. Okay, is everybody still with me? Everybody who doesn't use Vue knows how to use Vue now, basically. Okay, let's go to the packages style, which is a little bit more interesting because it shows the entire flow. Okay, I'm gonna close up this little bit. Let's go to the app directory, to the console directory, components, yeah. And you can see here that we have a folder for every component, or nearly every component on a dashboard. And what's contained in here are just artisan commands. So they have a signature, description, and handler. And this artisan command, yeah, it will fetch the data. Now these artisan commands, they of course are scheduled in the schedule. So here we are in App Console kernel, and you can see here that we schedule all those dashboard commands. We are going to check the calendar events every minute, but we're going to fetch the packages totals hourly. So that's how new things are scheduled. It's just basic Laravel. Now, how do we get the data and what happens after? We use our own package here to get data by a specific vendor, which will be Spatie in this case. And we use a little bit of collection magic here, but I'm not going to delve deep into this. What's important is that this function, it will return an array with just the sum of all the daily downloads, the monthly downloads, and the total downloads. What are we going to do next? How are we going to get this data to the client side? Well, we are going to leverage events and broadcasting events. So here, we are sending out an event called totals fetched. If I go to that class, you can see here, that's a nice little event here that just get those totals. And here something funny happens. You can see that we put every entry in that array, we put that as a public property on that event. Why do we do that? Because the public properties on an event in Laravel, those are that is the data that will be broadcasted. So if I take a look at dashboard event, which this one extends, you can see that it implements an interface, should broadcast, and that's the hint for Laravel, hey, I should broadcast this event to the configured broadcasting driver, which in this case is Pusher. Now, broadcasting works a little bit like a little radio. There are different channels, and you can say, yeah, I want to broadcast that on that channel. In this project, we only have one channel called the dashboard channel where everything is happening on. Okay, that's what it does on the server side. Let's take a look at how we handle things on the client side. So I'm going to back in the resource asset folder, components, packages. You can see here that we have our template, we have our behavior in the script tag, and it's basically the same thing. We have some state that we are going to format in this case to have spaces between the thousands of the numbers. But how does it actually get this data? Well, this component has a special function called get event handlers, and it returns an object in which each key is the name of the event that Laravel is broadcasting, and the value is a function that will be executed whenever we hear this event coming in. So whenever the package's totals fetched event is coming in, we're going to take a look at the response. We are going to take a look at the daily part. We're going to set that to the internal state here. Same with monthly and total. And I'll repeat this, just because we update the internal state of the component, it will re-render. So that's how that works. But this is not all, because you haven't seen Laravel echo here. It's just an object. What is this magic thing? You can see here that we have a special key here, mixins. And a mixin in Vue is a little bit like a trait in the PHP world. You can use it to you can use a mixin in this case to put in some functions that you want to apply on multiple components. Now, this echo component, this echo mixin, is applied on every component that needs to receive events from the server. Okay, let's take a look at that echo mixin. Now, if you're not familiar with JavaScript, this may be a little bit funny, but let me walk you through it. So what we are going to do here is we are going to add a function called created to our component. So this will execute when the component is created. We are going to call that get event handlers function that I just showed you. So this one, the one that will listen and will copy the data from the response to the internal state. And for every event name that's in there, it will let it execute whenever an event of that name is coming in. So we are using echo, which is the package that Taylor wrote. We are going to listen for events on the private channel, because that's the only channel we use, and we are going to listen for these events. So this is really registering what we should do when that event comes in. And what should we do when the event comes in? We are just going to execute that handler function, and we are going to give it a response. So that's how this part works. Okay, I know it's a little bit much theory. Let's just see it in practice, how it works. So I've got here my little dashboard. Let me clear this up. Here I'm logged into the debug console of Pusher. So Pusher lets you see what is gets sent over the wire. And just let's execute. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm not in the right directory here. Talks, dashboard demo. Okay. Let's just execute that artisan command that we just saw. So if I should probably show this. I have an alias because I type PHP artisan. I have to use artisan the whole time. Let's just see which dashboard commands that we have. And the one we're interested in is that fetch packages totals thing. Okay, so let's execute that. Let's hope the internet works here. So now that the artisan task is being performed, and hopefully Laravel will send an HTTP request to Pusher, which will send a signal via the WebSocket connection. And take a look, it worked. And if you looked here, then you see that this got updated. So we did the full cycle. We're nearing 5 million. We're not there yet. If I take a look at the debug console here, can I make this a little bit bigger? Then you can see here that what did Pusher receive? It received the data that we're displaying here. So that's how that works. Is everybody still on the same page with me here? Okay, cool. Let's have some fun with the Twitter tile here. So that Twitter tile, let me show you. It works more or less the same. Should I go in here? Let's see. Yeah, this is the view component, and it also has a template to display things. And you can see here that we have a loop somewhere here, v4, which is a loop. For every tweet that we should display, we render this HTML. And you can see here that this also uses the echo mixin. And it also has that event handler thing. So whenever Twitter mentioned comes in, here we are going to add the tweets to the waiting line, because sometimes we get a lot of tweets at the same time and we don't want to appear them as once. We stick them in a little client-side queues and we only display a new one every 10 seconds when new tweets come in. Let's take a look at the server side of things. We have actually a few things here. Send fake tweet, that's just for testing. We're listening for quotes, because that's another event stream from Twitter that we need to use. But I'm going to demo the listen for mentions thing. So here our own package is used to work with the Twitter streaming API. And you can see that it's very easy. You just have to resolve one out of the container. You need to say, hey, I want to use the public stream, because we are going to listen to every public tweet that has been that is being tweeted, and when we hear tweets containing this, we are just going to send out the event. So that's how that works. Now, normally we only try to listen to our spaCy mentions, but let's have a little bit of fun and just put Laracon EU here as well. That's cool. And this is the moment where you can all start tweeting when I start up the stream here. So we are going to listen for the Twitter mentions. Just going to see if I did it right here. I think I did. Okay, oh, that's not good. Dashboard, just going to copy it again so that I'm sure. Let's do this, and we're listening for mentions. Okay, I want your tweets. Tweet. Okay, there. And you see that it's really fast. To the one that's sending that tweet, you can see that it probably is faster on our dashboard than it is confirmed on your phone that that tweet has been sent. So that's pretty cool. Anybody got some good jokes for there? And if enough people have tweeted, then I can show you, this is really small. That sucks a little bit. Here I am in the debug tools. If I go to Twitter here, the Twitter, that's enough. Then you can see here our waiting line. And yeah, there are a lot of tweets coming. So our waiting line is now 10. And these ones are being displayed now. But you see that we don't display it all at once. It's just one after the other. Okay, and the queue is drying up a little bit. Thanks, Chris. Cool. So that's how the Twitter tile works. Okay. If the stream stays a little bit calm, I'll leave the stream open so you can have your moment of glory there. Um, there's one little thing that I want to display, that I want to talk about in this code demo is, I've said that every bit of information passes in via WebSockets, and that's it. But for what do you think that what will happen if I refresh the dashboard? Should be empty, right? But if I refresh it, you can see, yeah, it refreshes really quickly, that I've got all the data here. So how do you manage that? Well, let's take a look at the code again, and let's go to that packages style here. So the packages style has another mix in here called save state. And that save state thing, that's something that we've open sourced as a package as well. What it will do is whenever the data of your internal state changes, it will write that to local storage. And whenever your component is created again, it will use those values in local storage to put it in your component again. So that's why when I refresh things, things are back here. So let me go to DevTools here again. And let's go to the application thing. Yeah, I know it's small. I don't know how to make this bigger actually, but you can see here, if you have spy classes, that the data being displayed of our package downloads is here. And if I remove that and refresh again, yeah, then you see that it's dropped to 0 back again because it has no data. So that's how that works. Now that I'm here, you can also see that we've made the effort to make the dashboard itself responsive. So if you have another ratio of television, then it should just work on there too. So that's how that works. Maybe one little thing. Gonna stop the Twitter stream, so get your tweet out now. Okay, it's gone. Let's see. There are some people that ask, do I need to use Pusher? Why do I need to use an external service for this? Well, at the time when I started with this dashboard, Pusher was really the easiest thing to get working with because, yeah, it just works. You don't have to worry about the WebSockety part. They have this secure line, but there's somebody that just wrote basically what Pusher does in a Node program. So let's try that out now. Going to my environment file here, and yeah, all the stuff I don't want you to know is below in the file. You can know this broadcast driver here, and Laravel Echo and the whole broadcast system of Laravel is driver-based, so you can just swap things out. So if I use Laravel Echo server here, I'm going to use that driver. And if I open up my... No, I'm going to do it here. I got Laravel Echo server installed here, so I can start it. Laravel Echo server start. Okay, so now that's started. I'm going to refresh the page a little bit. I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi off, so I don't have a connection with Pusher anymore. And if I go to, let's make this a little bit bigger again. If I go to my dev docs dashboard demo dashboard, if I send a fake tweet out now, it should still work. Let's hope that it will. Fake tweet, hi, Laracon. And there's hi, Laracon. So we've just used the Laravel Echo server instead of the Pusher service. So that concludes the little technical demo that I want to give. I hope that it was clear. There's another thing that I'd like to show you. How do we display this dashboard on a television? Well, the answer is very simple. We have a Raspberry Pi that just lives behind our television screen. And it's a Raspberry Pi 2 that's powerful enough because it doesn't run the Laravel code. We just use it as a full screen browser. It's powered by the USB port from the TV, so you don't need an extra power connection, which is great. And it uses Raspbian Jessie, which is the default operating system, and it boots into Chromium 65 when it is in full screen mode. Now, I have here at my laptop, I have a clone of that Raspberry Pi. And so we're going to start it up now. It gets the internet connection from my MacBook here, and it also gets power from my MacBook. Okay, so if we can switch to the other display, then we're going to start up this thing. We're just going to give it power. Yeah, it's always the wrong side, right? Okay. This is an exciting part of the demo for me too, to have power here. Yeah, okay, it starts up. So this is the boot sequence of a Raspberry Pi. And I forgot something. I hope I'm quick. I'm going to do it again, guys. Sorry. My Wi-Fi should be on, right? I just turned it off for that other demo, but it should be on. Let's try it. Come on, Laracon Wi-Fi. I think we're on here again. Okay, sorry, you didn't see that. Here we are again. So we are going to boot up that thing. Come on. Okay. Here it flickers a bit. Okay, cool. Those 4 raspberries, it means 4 cores, I think. Okay, now it displays the UI, and this is the funny part. So Chrome is going to start up. It's going to show a thing there, restore pages. I don't know how to get that away, so I close Chrome again and I boot it up again. So that's what you're going to see now. Real programming. Okay, and here's our dashboard. So in Antwerp, they're listening to Tortoise now. Cool. It worked. Nice. Thanks. Okay, let's switch back over to the laptop. So, I've mentioned that this dashboard is entirely open source. So if you like it, you can try it out yourself. If you want to read everything that I've said during this talk and a little bit more, head over to the blog post I wrote about the dashboard. I give it a higher overview as well, and I explain a few other tiles there. And yeah, the first link, that's just the repo on GitHub. So I've been rambling here the whole time, so you might think, hey, this guy he can do a lot, but actually it was a team effort. I had a lot of help from my 2 colleagues. Willem, he made the dashboard look great, and he made sure that that grid system worked properly. And my colleague Sebastian, which is basically a JavaScript wizard, just cleaned up all my JavaScript mess after me. Here are a few more links to packages that I've demonstrated. So that Laravel Echo Server, you can find it there. The Vue Save State thingy, that's also open source. And I've mentioned our uptime monitor. You find the documentation at that last URL. Next slide. Okay. Okay, we're there. So I've put all the slides of this presentation on Speaker Deck. Surely take a look at what we've done in the open source world for Laravel applications. I'm pretty sure we have something for everybody. And yeah, if you're interested in keeping up to date with what happens in the PHP world and the Laravel world, head over to my blog. Yeah, are there any questions? Yeah, yeah.
Is it on? Yeah. How about making the components packages as well, that you can have other people start adding like a pingdom tile?
People have asked me that as well, but Um, I'm really not that interested in creating an ecosystem for components. If people create components for this, they should really open up their own repo, and I'm more than happy to add a link to their component in the README of our dashboard, pointing people to the right decision. But I already have to maintain a lot of stuff, and generally my rule is I only want to maintain stuff that I use. So if there are tiles that I'm not going to use myself, I don't want to maintain it, then that's why I want it in another repo. So cool. Other questions? Um, if you're going to do it once a minute, then I would probably do like a never-ending process where you can just do things there. Use something in there like React PHP or one of the cool async frameworks, and there you can specify if you have a long-running loop with things like every tenth of a second you need to do this. That's how I would go about this, because I don't think you can use the Laravel scheduler or cron to go under a minute there. All right. The dashboard itself, so it runs on a DigitalOcean server, and the actual dashboard has it's not that secure. I mentioned that in the README. It's just basic auth. You need to have the username and a password for displaying that page there. And the Raspberry Pi, it really doesn't need. Extra security, it just hangs in our office. That's basically it. So, and it's just a Chrome browser that runs on there. There are no secrets in there. Cool. I sleep sometimes. The secret actually is I work on it every day for a little bit. That's it, but every day. So that's a little bit of the secret sauce. If you want to know more secrets, just come ask me afterwards. Okay, I guess we're done here. Thank you all for listening.